Next, we're going to learn how to graph a line, and we're going to continue looking at domain and range. This first example, we're given 2 points, so you simply plot the points on the graph and then draw a line between them. Remember, when you're plotting points, the first point is the x-coordinate, and the second point is the y-coordinate. When you look at a coordinate plane, the x-axis is the horizontal axis, or the side-to-side axis, and the y-axis is the vertical one, or the up and down. Our first coordinate has an x value of -5. We start at the origin, which is the 0, 0 point, and we go left 5, and then our y-coordinate is +3, so we go up 3 from there and plot a point. Our next coordinate is 2, 2, so our x value is +2, and our y value is +2, so we go right 2, up 2. Then we simply connect the 2 points with a line. Next, we're asked to calculate the slope. There's a couple of different ways you can do that. It's change in y over change in x, or rise over run. So you can either count it off the graph, or you can look at the coordinates. I'm going to do this one looking at the coordinates because I know rise over run is easier, so I'm going to go through it the more challenging way. Once you have your coordinates side by side, you figure out the change in y. So my y-coordinate went from 2 to 3, so it was a rise of 1, or a change in y of 1. My x-coordinate went from 2 down to -5. So think about how much money you would have to spend if you had $2 and you owe $5. You would have had to spend all that you have, plus an additional $5 more, so you spent $7. So our slope is -1/7. Domain will be the x values. If the line isn't horizontal or vertical, the domain and range will both be all real numbers. You can always put any x value into the equation of a line that you want to, and the function machine will always give you an output. Same process, graph those 2 points. So 6, -1, I'm going to go right 6, and down 1. My other coordinate is -4, -6, so I'm going to go left 4 and down 6. Graph the line between those 2 points. Next, we'll calculate the slope. I'll run through that with the points again. So we had the points 6, -1, and -4, -6. So calculating our change in y over change in x, from -1 to -6, we spent $5 more. From 6 to -4, we spent $10. So we have a slope of +1/2. I get a lot of students that want to leave a negative sign on. Remember, a negative divided by a negative is positive, so make sure you cancel those negative signs when you simplify your slope. This is a line that slants, so the domain is all real numbers, and the range is all real numbers. So the only lines that won't have a domain and range of all real numbers are the ones that are horizontal or vertical. Next, we're going to look at graphing a line given a point and a slope. Whenever you're graphing a line, the slope is the rate of change between 2 points on the graph. So you have to start with the point, and then the rate of change can take you to the next point. So we've got the point 0, 5, so we're not going left or right at all, but we're going to go up 5. And then we use our slope as rise over run. So from that point, I'm going to rise 2 and run 5 to get my next point. I can then connect those 2 points with a line. This one we already know the slope. We were given the slope to graph it, so we're simply going to find the domain and range. This is not a horizontal or vertical line, so our domain is all real numbers, as well as our range. Our final example, this time we're given a point and we know the slope is 0. So we'll start by graphing the point the left 3, up 3. And we have to think about what a slope of 0 means. It means 0 divided by any number. So we've got 0 rise, but we do have run, which means we have a horizontal line, If it helps, you can make another point using that slope you came up with, and then you graph the line between those 2 points. Then we'll talk about domain and range. This one is a horizontal line, so we know that the domain and range will not be all real numbers. Domain is the x value, so you think about the line side to side. When we graphed the line, we traced the whole thing from side to side, so our domain is all real numbers. But when we graphed it, we did not go up or down at all. That means it does not cover all of the different y values that could be on the graph. The only y value that this covers is 3. So our range is y equals 3. 2 questions for you to try before our warm-ups tomorrow.